I think we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are. It's good to have all of us on the call. Just give a couple more minutes to others to be able to join us. And you can just do us a favor by sharing on different platforms that we are live now and we are about to start. And we just give a few minutes to start. So good to um, have all of us here to learn this very valuable skill. Honestly, I see what we have today as quite important. It's been a couple of weeks for us trying to see how far we can go with Excel, and myself and I already we've discovered that there's no limit. It depends on when you are able to get tired, actually, because there's just a lot that you can actually do. So today we're just going to look at customer churn, and it's a very important and interesting concept for anyone in the service industry, or even if you have products, even for people that want to talk, that want to apply their skills in their organization. It's very, very, very important as well. So I'm really glad to be working with Irony Day on this one. Yeah, I can see people coming in. Awesome, awesome. And just to put that out there, you can ask us questions at any point in the session. You can either use the Q&A part of the meeting, or you can use the chats, and would love to answer and take your questions while the session is going on. So if I don't take it, Ayorinde is going to take it. We'll be alternating. Okay.
Yeah,
Ayo, do you want to start, or should I go ahead and start?
go ahead. Yeah,
All right, welcome everyone. Today we're looking at customer churn prediction in Excel with Copilot and Python. So if you've been with us for previous events, you know how big we are on Excel and Copilot, because these tools actually go ahead to transform Excel from just a usual spreadsheet tool to something that becomes so powerful. And we're glad to just be able to share this with you today, honestly. And so I'll just go right straight into it, introduce ourselves, and then we can start. So my name is Precious. Sunny, I'm an Excel student ambassador, also a Microsoft Learn ambassador. And I have with me Ayorinde on the call as well. And he's also, just a second, this is, yeah, he's a technical director on with Excel Student Ambassador Program. So I'll just give a background on what that is. So technical directors are people who have demonstrated wonderful ability to be able to like demonstrate concepts and show you how well things work. And so Irene is one of the he's the only technical director we have in the state of Arkansas. It's a celebrity. All right, I'll just go into our agenda for today's session. We're going to be looking at customer churn. What exactly is it? Excuse me. And then we're going to look at what you can make your project goals to be and your objectives when you're trying to predict customer churn. And then we're now going to go into the nitty gritty of what brought us here today, which is like the live showcase. We're going to do the live coding session, and it's going to be inside of Excel. So I'll just go ahead and start. For some of us, we might not know what customer churn is, but some of us are already familiar with the concept already. So, but for the benefit of those who might not have heard the term before or who have heard it but don't really understand what it is, so I'll just go ahead and explain. So it just simply refers to the rate at which customers decide to stop doing business with an organization, with a business or a service. Whenever you just have your customer leave, that is churn actually. So, and predicting it before it happens is a very important part of any business. Now you might be wondering, how would you do that? That's part of what we're going to show you. So it's very, very possible to be able to predict those customers that are likely to stop doing business with you. And what do you do with this information? Immediately, you go ahead and then offer them products or services that and possibly try to extend the time that they would do business with your organization. So that's the importance of predicting churn before it even happens. You try as much as possible to keep those customers in your business. You try as much as possible to keep them satisfied. And sometimes companies can even identify people who are at risk of leaving. And especially, I'll give an example. Let's say I'm in the financial industry and then I noticed that one of my very big accounts is about to leave. It's very, very important to do everything possible to keep that account within the organization and not go to the competitors. Or if I'm in media and advertising and I have a client that I run very big ads for all through the year and they're about to leave and go to the competitor who probably is maybe bigger, uh, it's very important that I try to keep that customer as part of my clients and not lose them to competition. So those are some of the examples and cases of customer churn. And I'll speak about the importance as well. It's very important to actually predict it, like I've mentioned, because you'll be able to tailor your strategies to retain your customers. You'll be able to keep them in your organization. You'll be able to now allocate resources effectively. What do we mean by that? So there are some customers, if you're very, very familiar with the concept of promoters, um, concept of lifetime value optimization. You know, there are some customers that have become so loyal to you to the point that at that point they are now the ones even telling others about your business, right? That's those set of people are people that you might not necessarily need to spend too much in order to keep. All you need to do is just keep your service good and maybe once in a while reward them for their loyalty. But those who are at risk of leaving, then you can spend more resources in trying to keep them, especially if they'll be valuable to your organization. So sometimes, I don't know if you've experienced it, you're about to leave maybe a cell phone provider to another, depending on the country you are in. Some would try to offer you lower monthly rates, try to offer you maybe cheaper internet and a lot of other things just so that you don't leave, that you can keep being part of their service. So that's one of the things that's one of the importance of churn prediction. So how do you actually do churn prediction? I would say, first of all, as a business owner or as an organization, you need to do proper data collection. Make sure that you collect data on your customers. You have all the data that is needed. And then after you have collected the data, then you need to prepare that data. So what are some of the things you need to do in preparing the data? You need to check for missing values or inconsistent names. Sometimes you find some customers, they might open an account, maybe lose access to their account, and then go ahead and open another one. And then you have multiple, you have duplicates, same name, same everything. maybe just the phone number changed. You need to look at that so you don't predict wrongly. And then you need to actually do a lot of descriptive statistics that go into the mean, median mode, all those basic things. Try to see the distribution of your customers. I would look at all of that today. And then another thing is when you visualize the data, even before you predict, you'll be able to uncover some patterns in the data. So those are some of the things you need to actually do before you go into um, the churn prediction um, itself. And then you also need to transform that data, right? It's not just enough to clean the data. You also need to like transform it to put it in a format where you can easily do your analysis on it. So one of those things you can do is one-hot encoding, which is to um, convert categorical data. What do I mean by categorical data? Data that is not quantifiable. Data like yes, no. Data like would leave, not leave, things like that. Yes, no, age, range, and data that you cannot just quantify, you can't place on a scale of 1 to 10. So those are categorical. And then you must also transform Boolean values similar, which is like has a dog, does not have a dog, and those kind of things. So yes, no, those are Boolean variables, true or false. So you also need to put it into a format where you can easily analyze it. And then you have to ensure that all your data is in the correct format. I give you an example. The way data is written in different parts of the world. It was a problem for me too at one point because I came from a place where you write the day before the month and then the year. And then I moved to a system where you write the month before the day, then the year. So it was confusing at first, but later I had to adapt. Or maybe you move, someone is talking temperature, and the person says today was 100 degrees. And you're coming from a place where you use Celsius or centigrade, and you're like 100 degrees. How come you're still alive? And the person is actually talking in Fahrenheit. So it's those kind of data you need to actually harmonize. You need to make sure that everything is in the correct format, and then you're not doing misanalysis based on the different formats of data. Then, when you have probably done your prediction now, you need to look at the churn distributions. You need to check the exited column to see those who have actually left. You need to understand the rate at which people are leaving. So that's a very important metric. If your churn rate is almost, in fact, I would say if your churn rate is 60%, you are losing more than half of your customers. Before you even go and start predicting churn, you need to look at your service to be sure that you are satisfying the customer to see. Because why should you have more than half of your customers leaving? Are there new regulations that are prohibiting your customers from using your service? Is it something that is internal or something that is external? You need to do all of that. And then you need to look for trends and anomalies. So sometimes some people churn and it is actually good for your business. So probably there was you look at your business, let's say you are offering a service, maybe an API, and people have to pay. And then you look at this account and then you see somebody that was massively using the API just leaves all of a sudden. But then you go and check how much the person has spent, and you see that he has spent probably less than someone who has not used the API for a while. And then you find out that that person was actually going through maybe a security vulnerability in your service. And that's why they were using your service so much because they were hacking the system. They were exploiting the vulnerabilities in your system. But now that they can't exploit the vulnerability, they have decided to leave your organization. That is actually a good churn. So when you see abnormalities, you actually need to go in and then look at it. What is the problem? Why do we have this weird pattern? And then you can go ahead and do some samples. Statisticians will tell you that you need to get a good sample can be a representative of a population. So get a good sample of your data, because sometimes it might not be realistic to look at the whole data. If you have millions of customers, you need to get a good sample that can actually show you what you have in the data. And I would hand off the baton here to Irene to continue. So he's going to talk about visualizing churn data, and then from there would move to a few more concepts and then just go into the live demonstration.
Thank you so much, Precious. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, all right. So I'll be taking it up from here. So these are the steps, just like the way Precious mentioned, that these are the steps in order to build a customer churn prediction model. So yes, you talked about analyzing the churn data, and yes, you also need to visualize the churn data because you need to understand. It's not enough for you to know which customer is leaving or which customer is not going to leave, but also it's good to know why they are leaving. And that's the reason why visualizing the churn data is very important. And also, you can use graphs, and this would help you understand what is actually happening within your data. And then you should definitely highlight the metrics that you want to check, and in order to improve your strategy and also your decision making when it comes to how you handle your customers. And yes, correlation analysis. Some of us might know about correlation analysis, but some of us might also not know about correlation analysis. But essentially, correlation analysis is just to find how, it's just to help us. Okay, yeah, it's just to help us understand how one variable affects the other or how one feature affects the other. For example, in some countries, for example, the United States, when you are below the age of 25, you have more insurance to pay compared to someone who is older than 25. And the reason that is because they have discovered that there is a high correlation between the age and the accident. So, for example, they believe that lesser the age, the higher the rate of accidents. So, for an insurance company, if you have an accident, it's a it's definitely a problem for them because they have to pay out, right? And everybody wants to maximize their profit. So when you are below the age of 25, your insurance is always very, very high. And then for those that are like older than 25, they have a better price for insurance to pay. And yeah, and that's because based on analysis, they have seen that people who are older tend to have less accidents. Yeah, and it can also help you prioritize the features that you want to focus on, and these are the features that can help your predictive modeling, that can help you understand why some things are happening, and also why a customer will churn or why a customer will remain loyal to you. Yeah. So, the next slide. Yeah. So to build a churn prediction model, first thing we have to select the appropriate algorithm, which algorithm will be very helpful for us in predicting this churn. So this is a classification problem. So it's either a customer will churn or will not churn, right? So that's a classification problem. So we are classifying our our data. We are classifying these different customers into these different buckets, and that helps with the algorithm. That helps us determine the algorithm. So for people that are new to machine learning that are on the call, because we are trying to find the balance between basic and intermediate machine learning. So for people who are new to machine learning or data science on the call, um, the kind of problem you are solving determines the kind of algorithm you use. So for example, this is a classification problem. So definitely you're using a classification algorithm, right? And also for regression, so regression essentially is like predicting like a continuing value. So like predicting the price of a house, predicting the price of a car, that's regression. So there are also regression algorithms that are used for those kind of problems. And yeah, you also train your model to with the data, for to check for accuracy. But in this case, I would say accuracy might not necessarily be the best. Might not necessarily be the best metric to use because if you look at our problem, right, we are predicting if a customer will churn or not. If they're using accuracy essentially is covering the overall data set. So for example, that means I'm checking how my model is able to predict customers that are not able to churn compared to those that are going to churn. But then we also have other metrics such as precision recall. and that is to help us focus on a specific part of the data set. So, for example, I'd rather like to predict a customer to churn, and the customer ends up not churning. That's safe for me, right? I can predict, for example, I can predict Precious to churn, but then at the end, if Precious doesn't churn, I'm safe. But what if I predict a customer not to churn, and then at the end the customer churns, or the customer leaves the business? That's a problem for me, right? So that's where the metrics comes in. So yeah, also you have to evaluate the model's performance and using the necessary metrics. And then yes, you can use several techniques such as the um, ROC curve, the confusion matrix, and also the use of A and B testing, but that's outside the scope of this. And then also you adjust the model parameters in order to help improve the model performance. Yeah. So also, yeah, feature importance. So this helps you to understand what's happening between within the model. So which of the features have the most impact on the prediction? Like I said, it's not enough to know if a customer will churn or not, but it's better to know. It's also better to know that a customer know the reason why a customer will churn. For example, is it as a result of their salary, or is it as a result of based on their as a result of their location, or as a result of even maybe their gender. So why is the customer churning? It's very important to know that. So that's where the feature importance helps us. And yeah, it can help you with the marketing and customer retention strategy. So this is essentially for strategy, knowing why a customer is leaving. Yeah. So I think this Precious, the next. Yeah, testing with new data. Yeah, so we're going to do all of this today. We're going to test the model with new data, and then the next. Yeah, I think so. Now we're going to implementation, which is like the main source of the day, right? So yeah, so I'm going to try to be as fast as possible. So if you want me to try anything, please let me know. I don't know why my screen is going on and off, but I'm wondering why it's really doing this. But I'm just going to try to share my screen. Precious, let me know once you can see my screen.
All right.
Let me know once you can see my screen.
Yeah, it is up.
All right. So this is our data. So this is the case. So let me paint a picture of the case study. So this is a business, a financial business, like a credit card financial business that help people with loans. I'm wondering why this is happening in my system. What's happening? Okay. If this happens again, I'm just gonna take this off. So yeah. So this is a financial business that has a lot of customers, and then they have branches across several countries in the world. So they have customers in France, Germany, Spain, and all. And then they have their credit scores, and then they also have the estimated salary, and also how active the customer is. So like that's what the data is all about. So please give me a second. I think I might need to take off my yeah, I need to take up my monitor at this point because I don't know. Okay. Sorry. Oh, the wrong code. Okay. Please can you confirm if you can hear me and you can see me? I'm Precious.
Yeah, we can hear you and we can see your screen.
Okay. Can you see me? Or can I off? Okay. Okay. All right.
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. I was having issues with my monitor. I don't know what's happening. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's what the business is all about. So they provide loans to different people across several countries such as Spain, Germany, France, and all. And then they have their credit score, their age, um, also the number of products. So the number of products is the number of products that they have is like the number of different plans that they have that a customer has with the business. Yes, that's what it's all about. So here we have the exited column, which is 1 and 0. So 1 means the customer has left, 0 means the customer has not left. So yeah. So now you see, I've not even started anything. Copilot has started work already. But let's do this first. Let's convert this to to be to have a table. Trying to insert a table. Yeah. So we are converting this to a table so we can have an overall view. So for example, if you click on geography, you can see that we have 3 countries, France, Germany, and Spain. So those are the countries we are focusing on. And then we have gender, male and female. Yeah, age. We have exited, so you can know if a customer has exited or not. So now you see, I've never started anything yet. Copilot is already suggesting. That's the power of Copilot. And this is really lovely because this is actually a very new update that I discovered a few days ago. So apparently, Copilot is giving me suggestions to clean my data. So let's look at the suggestion. Now, what Copilot has discovered is there are some um, there are some differences in the way some names are spelled. So, for example, we have Michelle with the double L, and we have a Michelle with one L. So let's look at the Michelle with one L. So this is the Michelle with one L, and this is the Michelle with. Need to go there. Uh, yeah, yeah, Michelle. So let me change this to Michelle. So yeah, so you come here, you see Michelle, and then if you come here, so let me take this to Michelle, and then yeah, use me to Michelle. So you can say like there are different names. So for example, if you have a customer database that has like that's representing one person with different names, Copilot can help you solve that problem. So look at this, Chin. Chin, this person enter was Chin, and then this person is Chin, like CH apostrophe N. It could be a mistake. So let's check if the customers are the same. So let's go to Chin. So you can see that the customers are actually the same. Female, France, 25. So this is how beautiful Copilot can be. So what we can do is we can replace it. So for example, let's say I want to replace Michelle with one L with that with two L. I just say replace selected with Michelle. This applies. So you can do it across different things. So for example, look at McDonald's. So we have McDonald's with the small letter C, MC, and we have the one with MAC, and we have the one with capital letter D and small letter D. You can see how Copilot checks the similarities between these texts and then advises you and says, oh, how should we replace this selected text? But then this is AI, right? So it also needs human intervention. So you have to check it out yourself. So let's look at this. This is McDonald, France, female, she's 52 years old. So let's check out the McDonald with the MAC. Okay, so it's male France 41. And then let's look at McDonald. Yeah, McDonald, Spain, female 22. So you can see that there are different people. So let's ignore this. So yeah, you have to do your own checks to, one by one. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to ignore, right? I'm just going to ignore what Copilot is saying. But this is just a way to show you that it is very possible. It's very possible to do text similarity chart or text similarity check with Copilot because he did it for us automatically. So yeah, so let's move on. So now let's do a little bit of Python. So let me use Copilot really for. So yeah, so let me tell Copilot create a data frame from the data shared data frame df data shared. So you see what Copilot will do is yeah to tell you to start advanced analysis and stuff, but let's do that. So Copilot is writing the Python code. Yeah, so this is just showing you the data frame again. So let's say I want to write mine now, for example. The first thing first, I do equals phi. So it changes to yeah, the um, the Venus spec I'm trying to. Yeah, I don't know why this is not working. This is working. Okay, this is messing up. I think this should yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that should run now. Um, I'm probably just going to leave this right now because I don't know why it's not doing everything. But yeah, so we have the data frame here. So so what we can do again is let's assign this. Is loading this from table one. So let's look at d of the head. Oh, this is happening. D of the head. So d of the head, essentially, we are looking into the first 5 columns first. So it's running through. It's going to display right now. Okay. So let's give it a sec. So for example, if I want to view the data in form of in Excel values, what I can do is this is taking so long. Copilot, no chop my how you okay, okay. It's going to show you the Python code that it's running. Okay. Then it's running the code. Let's give it some time. Not reading my data. That was interesting. I'm gonna need to restart this. I don't know why it's not reading my data, but let me just try it again. Yeah. Okay, good, good. So it's reading through my data now. Reading through my data. So I just wanted to do like a rough analysis just to be sure that it's reading through my data. Hmm, okay. Um, Show me the distribution, the description of the data set. Hmm, hmm. Please, I think I might need to restart this. I don't know why it's really acting up. Okay. Table, yeah, great. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to Copilot. Okay, so okay, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think it can read it now. So yeah, I'm telling you to show the description of my data set. So it's showing what's all about 14 columns, 10,000 rows, and includes names such as customer ID, surname, credit score, blah, blah, blah. All right, so I want to see, I need a statistical description of my data set. Use df.describe. So df.describe is a way to see like a statistical description of a data set. So you see like the 25th percentile, 50th percentile, the minimum value, the maximum value. So yeah, I think Copilot is seeing it now. All right, so it's currently working right now. Finally, technology can shame you. Technology can shame you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's passing that the data from first. Yeah. So it's showing you statistical description of your data set. So you see row number, customer ID, credit score, age, tenure. I think for others, you might have to. Okay. For others, you might have to. Yeah. Look through this place. Yeah. So it's just showing you the description of your data set. So now, for example, let's say I want to check the distribution. So if you remember what Peter said, he mentioned that we should do like a form of analysis, right? So I want to check the analysis of my expert column. So do histogram. So I'm showing the distribution of my visited column. Right. Yeah. So you can also use a bar chart to better visualize it. But if you discover something in this, let me just use the bar chart to make it use the bar chart. Let me tell you to use a bar chart instead of histogram so that you can easily understand it. Yeah. So you see in this data that we have more customers that are not churning compared to those that have churned. So you can see that about just maybe about 20% of our data is showing customers that will churn, but then we have most of our customers not leaving. This is a good sign, right? But then if we have most of our data focused on customers that are not leaving, then how would the model learn, right? Because most of the data that we have are for those that are not leaving. We have only a minute chunk of our data or a chunk of our data that of customers that are not leaving. So what we are going to do right now is that we are going to run a form of sampling technique to ensure that we have an equal distribution. So I'm going to show you the before and after, right? So just I can see that I have an imbalanced data set. So I need you to apply. You can do undersampling or oversampling techniques. So oversampling techniques to handle this. So let's give it time. So you see, it's going to generate everything. So it's going to import from sklen dot imbalance or something, or smooth, in order to make sure that the data set is balanced. So yeah, you can see oversampling techniques can be used. Oversampling technique can be used to undo. Oh, interesting. Yeah, good, good, good. Now you see that I'm running into errors. Okay. And okay. Oh, this thing has done what I didn't want it to do because I wanted to show you something. But then yeah, I tried to balance the data set, right? So what I did was I applied smooth technique. So you can also see the code. So it's saying that from imblend dot oversampling applying smooth. So what he did was is balancing the number of people that have churned with the number of people that have not churned, so that we can have a very good data to train our model with. So and then when we run into a problem, it says a Python error occurred while I tried to execute. Yeah, because it requires numerical data, but data set contains categorical columns such as son name, geography, and gender. So these columns need to be encoded into numerical values. So basically, we are meant to actually encode our categorical columns. So first, before doing smooth, so that means we need to go back. We need to go a step back and delete some rows that we know would not be useful. For example, we don't need the customer ID, we don't need the customer name, things like that. So we need to delete them. So what we're doing is that. So let's uh, previous frame before applying smooth technique. All I'm making errors. Yeah, reversing back to the previous data set. Now, just to show you what I mean. Okay, so yeah. All right. So for data frame, so you see what I mean. Yeah. So you see for this data frame, you notice that we have son name, geography. They are all categorical, or they are all in text. But then right now we just can't pass text through smooth, right? So we need to encode it. So let's do like this. Let's encode our categorical column. So encode categorical column, and also let's drop columns that are not useful. So let's drop from name, customer ID. What other column do we think would not be useful from these columns that we have here? Is anyone suggesting anything? Is anyone suggesting anything? What columns do we think would not be useful? I'm expecting answers. What other column should we drop? You can unmute and speak. You can drop a chat, anything.
Um, they can unmute, but they can drop a chat.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you can please drop a chat. Is anyone dropping anything?
Not right now. I mean, not right now. Yeah, I've checked
Okay.
the chat and the Q&A section. There's nothing
Oh,
there.
okay. Well, they could have
In,
won. They could have won a LinkedIn voucher, but we move.
oh wow.
but we move. Nobody responded.
Okay.
So yeah. So let's drop some name, customer ID, and what again? Yeah, I think for now, I think that's what we should drop. So let's drop that. You are dropping columns that are not useful for our analysis. There's nothing we want to use the name to do. There's nothing we want to use customer ID to do. So let's drop them. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So this is our new data frame. Without that. So now, but let's proceed. We need to encode certain columns. Oh, that's encoded it already. Oh God, I don't want
No,
this.
you can go ahead and do it again.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's reverted to the original data set.
yeah, okay. So let's carry out one-hot encoding. So one-hot encoding is to show that the data is normal. Like there's no any form of hierarchy between the data. So for these are for those that are new to like data science and stuff. So one-hot encoding is for like data that are normal. For example, location, especially if you want to put hierarchy to location, but location, gender, yeah, things like that. And then for ordinal data, which are the ones that like have hierarchy to them, those are the ones that have hierarchy to them. For example, a bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD. Those are the ones that like you apply a different encoding to, not one of the encoding. So there are several encoders like I think there's label encoding, target encoding, all those things. So you can apply to any of that. So yeah, let's carry out one of encoding on gender and geography. Let's carry out one encoding on gender and geography. So this is just following the steps that was listed in the PowerPoint. So if you follow through the PowerPoint, that's exactly what I'm doing here. So I'm applying one of encoding on gender and geography column. Uh, so yeah, so you see that gender one false, geography one false. Yeah, so this is what it does. This is what Python does like in Excel. But normally if you're doing script on the book, you have like one and zeros and stuff. So now what I'm going to do is that replace false with zero and true with one. So wherever there is true, you see one. Wherever there is false, you see zero. Yeah, so that's what this means. I think this is the resulting data frame. So this is the resulting data frame, and that means the smooth has been applied. So let me just all right. So you can see that false has become zero, true has become one. All right. So now let's check the distribution of our exited column. So plot a bar chart to show the distribution exited column. So we want to know, okay, how many of our customers exist, how many of them still are still with us, and how many of them are leaving. So that is essentially what I want to check with this bar chart. So let's see if the smooth has been applied. So before we start training the model. So you can see everything here. I'm just typing, just typing, just typing. I don't need to write any code. Okay, so you can see that it's not balanced yet. So now let's apply. Let's apply smooth techniques to balance our data set. Yeah. So you see that we have like more of our data, the customers are not left. And this is exactly a real world scenario. If you are, there's no business that would, well, except if the business is going bankrupt, but there's no business that will have more customers leaving than the customers that are staying. You get, except if the company is going bankrupt and they are unable to do anything for their customers. That's when that kind of situation will happen. But this is a real world scenario. You have more customers that will still be with you compared to those that will be leaving. So you have to balance the data sets. There are several techniques you can use, but I'm just applying smooth, so that it's not too computationally intensive. So yeah, let's check. Yeah, so let's check the visualization of the exited column after we apply smooth. This is really fast. Okay, so yeah, so let's see what our data looks like. So you can see our data is now balanced. So what happens is smooth um smooth is synthetic something. I think synthetic minority oversampling something technique. So basically what it does is that it can oversample small data. So which means that it can generate fake data that are related to the original data. It can generate fake data of the minority class. So we have a minority class, we have the majority class. In this case, before our minority class was 1 and our majority class is 0, right? So but what Smooth does is that it can oversample the minority class. So that means it can increase the size of the ones by generating fake data sets to help, so that our model can be trained. So I think now we are good to go to train our model because now we have like a balanced class already. So let's train. So we're going to train 2 models today. So first, let's train logistic regression. Let's train logistic regression on the data. Yeah. Yeah. Data, yeah, and check its performance. So while it does that, please give me a minute. I feel like I think there's a question in Q&A. Is there any question?
There is one.
Oh, okay.
How can we know when to use? Okay, how can we know whether we are to use oversampling or undersampling? So how do you know which one to use?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a good question. So it depends. It depends on the situation. Depends on the situation. So well, you can use any of it, but in this case, it would have been nice to use undersampling by undersampling the majority data instead of like oversampling the minority class. You have to have the balanced data set. So it depends on the situation you get. So if you have like a very wide range, a very very like wide range, it's better to use better to undersample the majority class, and then so that you can have like a balanced data set. And also it dependent on the data set size. So for example, if you have if you have it, so I remember a particular project that I worked on, which is like I was given 800,000 rows, but then only 5,000 out of the 800,000 rows um, were customer that were fraudulent data. Yeah. So out of 800,000 transactional data that was given, only 5,000 was fraudulent compared to 800,000. So that means I had 795,000 rows of data or 795,000 transactional data that are not fraudulent, and I only had 5,000 that are fraudulent. You get, so in that case, if I oversample the minority class, that means I'm generating fake data that will rise up to close to 800,000 or close to 700,000. But that would not be nice to do. So the best thing to do is just to undersample the majority class, which is the 795,000 rows of data. It also depends on whatever technique you want to use and also the level of rigorousness you want to apply. But yeah, I think that answers your question. I hope you are satisfied with that response. Hey, so yeah, so let's train. Okay. Mm. Yeah, so it's trying to write the code. So you can see it's writing the code for people that like have experience with like Python and stuff. You can see it's writing the code exactly the way you write it in Jupyter Notebook. So it's showing the logistic regression, so it might take a while. Right, so it has trained the model. So we have 0.678, 0.6, okay, 0.678, precision 0.673, recall, F1 score. So yeah, so let's visualize the confusion matrix. So confusion matrix is not to confuse you. It's just I don't know why they apply big names for the things that are like easily understandable. They're going to explain what it's all about. So it's going to display the confusion matrix. It's just to show you how well the model performs. Yeah, it's just show you how well the model performs basically. Uh, I can was on, but yeah, yeah. So the confusion matrix. So this is the confusion matrix. So yeah, what it's showing here is that normally you should not even apply. You should not actually test your data on the. You should not test your data on the training set. But then that's what we are doing here. This is not the industry standard. This is not what you should do in the industry. But yeah, you can see. So basically, what it's saying is that these are the actual values and these are the predicted values. So for non for customers that have not left or not exited, we are able to predict 1,132 correctly. And then for customers that have not exited, but then we predicted to be exited, we have 501. So which means that there's a misclassification. And then here for customers that have exited, that have really exited, but then we predicted not to be not exited at 524. And then for customers that have exited and then we predicted to be exited is 1,029. So we should actually have a test data to train this on. But then let's try a different model, like maybe decision trees. Let's use the decision tree. Okay, before we go to decision tree, let's check the feature and product. Let's check the things that are driving the idea, the thoughts of the model to be predicting whether a customer is leaving or not leaving. So let's look at yeah visualize the feature importance. So you can always see how these different features are, you know, how these different features are contributing to the model's decision. So you can see I'm running a full machine learning project, not full machine learning, like a machine learning project with Python and Copilot in Excel. You can see that's very powerful. So for your if you have a company that they are not open to you exploring data science yet and all that, you can use this. You can use this. You can build interesting projects with this, and then use this to convince your company into investing into data science. Especially if your company is not open to data science yet. So these are the feature importance. So active member, tenure, gender, number of products, if the customer has a credit card or not, geography, age, credit score. These are the things that are contributing to the model's decision. So this is just showing you how the model is thinking internally. So let's build one more model. Let's use country classifier. So decision tree is also like a different, also a model too. So it can be applied to regression problems and classification problems, but then I want to use decision tree classifier here. So let me see what decision tree classifier will do. Is it going to perform better than logistic regression? Well, let's see. Okay. Right. Since the decision tree classifier is performing a bit better. All right. So let me see feature importance. So if you want to really enjoy the best out of this, I believe strongly that you need to have a basic understanding of how data science, the end-to-end process of a data science project, so that you can use the right keywords. But then, if you don't have the basic understanding, or at least how data science works, you won't be able to put in the right keywords. For example, so a a layman would not think of, let me see feature importance, or let's try decision tree classifier, let's try like a different model or something. So yeah, this is what decision tree is saying. So yeah, balance. Yeah, balance was not a big thing. Yeah, balance was not a big thing. But here, balance plays a key role. Age plays a key role. Active member, estimated salary plays a key role. So this is just to show you how the model is thinking internally. So you can always visualize this and all. Yeah, let's plot vision matrix. Then I'm going to show you one interesting thing about this whole integration. This is my first time trying it. So if it doesn't work out, let's move on. But I believe it will definitely work out. So yeah, this is also decision tree. So you can see we have lesser errors here. So but let's keep that aside. Now let's use this model to carry out predictions. So now let me think of a case, a scenario now. This is like a future prediction or something. So I have a customer who has a credit score of 620. I have a 30-year-old customer li- who living in France. Credit score of 30 years old, and an estimated salary of 3,200 and a balance of 6,000.
Did you mean 32,000?
Oh, I meant 3,200. Yeah. Balance. My vocab is really getting bad. I don't know what's happening. Yeah, my spellings. And what again? What again should I add? Balance. Should not have changed the row number.
Is
That's
he
very
an
wrong.
active member?
Yeah, we is an active member with a credit card. Use the decision tree model to run a prediction on this customer. Okay, so let's see what happens. I want to see if it's going to pass this as a data that can be fed into the model. Let's see. We're all exploring here. Okay, working on it. Interesting. So if you tell the customer, if you tell that the customer will not exist, so look at this is what's happening. So you can see the room number, credit score, age, tenure, balance, number of products, as credit card. This is based on the data that based on what I typed. So you looked at that and then pass it as a form of like as a data frame and pass it into the model. So we have run a prediction like that. So imagine how this can be very helpful for you. You know, when you have a data, you can always train the the data. You can always pass the data through your model. Right? You can pass the data through your model and then run predictions on your customers and even have a live dashboard where you can monitor how these customers are behaving. And aside from the fact that it's predicting, you can also understand why the customers are leaving. So what are the major features or what are the major characteristics that are making this customer to leave? Or what are the patterns that we have noticed within these customers that is making them to leave? So yeah, I think that will be the end of the technical session. So please, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to
Um,
answer them.
Before we end, someone was saying we should add gender to
Oh,
the prediction. I think we did not include gender.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, let
So
me do that.
probably just run one more with
Yeah,
gender included.
yeah. Let me.
You can just copy that one and paste it.
Yeah, you can allow me to copy. If I to. Uh,
Male or female, just put it. Yeah.
yeah.
I think because gender is one of the factors that contributes to it. So is it
So
though age
yeah,
is that age is
age,
more up
age
there.
is the major factor. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean since we include, but let's just see if it will have a different score
yeah.
based on gender.
Yeah. I'm going to try with man and woman. Okay, it's predicting that the customer will not churn. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's try with a woman.
female, okay.
Yeah, let's say with female.
See.
If the customer leaves as a female, then I'll be so pissed. But I don't think it should play a key factor though. But let's see. Unless I'm going to start the whole gender equality thing here. Your model is biased. You're not building a responsible model. All right, let's
I
see.
feel it should stay the same.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so. Oh, it stays the same. Stays the same.
Yeah,
Stays the
yeah.
same.
The age.
Yeah.
If you had changed the age, probably then there might have been a
Yeah,
different answer
it is.
because
Yes.
age is higher on the scale. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Okay, so now, yeah, I think we can take questions, comments with a few minutes we have before we round up. And while we are doing that, I want to quickly share something. So um, we have a survey that would like you all to fill. And let me see. So you can just scan the QR code. I'll paste this link in the chat too, so that we can use it if you want to use the chat to fill it out. But you can scan the QR code to just help us fill out the feedback, the feedback form. And for the university or where this was held, this is University of Arkansas Little Rock. That's where your ambassadors are from.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I'm not sharing my screen yet.
No, you're not. I can't see
Oh
your
my
screen.
God. Okay, I pasted the link in the chat, but I'm sharing my screen now.
Okay, okay. Okay. Did we? Is this meeting recorded? Yeah, yeah. So yeah. So this meeting is recorded. So yes, you
Yes,
will
it
have
is
access.
recorded. Yeah.
So you have access
And
to it.
fun fact, the QR code you are saying was generated using Excel.
Nice, 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 nice.
So that's like
Mhm.
a bonus. If you
Yeah,
want to do that, you just go to home, go to templates, I think. Yeah, go to templates, search for online templates and search for QR code generator or just search QR and you would see this, open it and edit whatever URL you have in there and put the URL you want and it's going to generate the QR code for you. Extra bonus in our session today. Okay, so I think I see a question. Copilot is not on your Excel. How do you enable? And another question is how do we know the right algorithm to use for our prediction? I think okay, Ayo has provided an answer to that
yeah,
with the link. Yeah. Okay, so for those that don't have Copilot, so there are two ways you can get it. You can either subscribe for a 365, Microsoft Personal 365, or join the Windows Insider program. Join the Windows Insider program, and then you'll be able to use Copilot on Excel, or you do the free trial. But just try to get the Microsoft 365 started. Once you do that, Copilot is going to be enabled in your Excel. I see a comment. Oh, the QR code curation. Okay, it's simple. Just go to your, once you open a new Excel tab, under the place that says search for online templates, just search for QR code. And it will show you the template is going to come up. So you open it. Once you open it, it would come with a default link of say maybe bing.com. So you can clear it and just put any link. Any link you put in here is going to generate the QR code for you. All right, so we are still taking questions and also please try to fill the form. Um, who knows, there might be a giveaway for one person that fills the form. Right, Ayo?
yeah. Maybe. I don't know if there's anyone that plays Xbox here. I
but
don't know.
on a lighter note, I am really thank you for showing us that wonderful method of running churn prediction. I mean, even a beginner can replicate the steps and without having to write the code yourself. So it's something you can easily just do quickly and on time. And if you want to even write the code, you can easily copy the code from Copilot and then modify it to suit your own purpose and all. So it was a really great session. And thank you all for joining us today. And
Yeah.
we were really happy to share what the little we know with you. I see a new question. Wow. My boss, I see I would reach out after this session. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we finished right on time.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think with that we've come to the end of the session. Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone.
much,
Thank you.
everyone. Much for joining. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. God. Not raising up. Absalam. None of people are raising up their hand.
I think they are waving, or
Okay, okay. Oh,
are they
yeah, I
trying to
think
say so?
they're probably. Oh, they
Yeah.
can't. Yeah. Is there a way to save the history in Copilot in case of next time? Yeah. So once you save your Excel. So if you are running it on local, once you save, automatically your history is saved. But then if you are running it on Excel online, it's also automatically saved because it's connected to OneDrive. So as you are doing everything, it's automatically saved on OneDrive. So yeah, it saves automatically. But then when you're doing it on your with the desktop app, I think you might have to be like more careful because in case you are not connected to your OneDrive and all, you might not save everything. You get
Yeah.
so just make sure you're saving. Yeah.
If you're not even connected, autosave is not going to work, and then copilots would not be able to run the analysis. So you have to enable autosave before you can actually even run the analysis. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
you need to turn on autosave and connect to your drive from the desktop. Okay, I think we can end the session now.
Yeah.
All right, bye everyone.
Yeah.